ओके, दैट्स वेरी नाइस। तो मैट्रिसेस हम स्टार्ट करने वाले हैं। क्लास 12 का चैप्टर नंबर 3 है ये। दैट इज वेरी important chapter and basic chapter in algebra of 12th class। तो आज हम इसमें पूरा कवर करने की कोशिश करेंगे कि जो चैप्टर है मोस्ट ऑफ द पार्ट इसका हमारा कवर हो जाए। तो सबसे पहले हम डिफाइन करते हैं व्हाट इज ए मैट्रिक्स, राइट। तो यहाँ पे हम एक एग्जांपल ले लेते हैं। राधा हैज 15 नोटबुक्स एंड 6 पेन्स, राइट, एंड Fauziya has 10 notebooks and 2 pens, and Simran has 13 notebook and 5 pens, right? तो यहाँ पे हमें जो गिवन डेटा है उसको हमें एक टेबुलर फॉर्म में या टेबल के फॉर्म में अरेंज करना है। तो हम कैसे करेंगे? तो यहाँ पे आप देखें, वर्टिकली जो पर्सन्स हैं राधा, फौजिया एंड सिमरन, उनको हम राइट कर लेते हैं, राइट। एंड हॉरिजेंटली एट द टॉप जो हमारी थिंग्स हैं, नोटबुक एंड पेन्स हैं, यहाँ पे 2 थिंग्स हैं, तो उनको हम राइट कर लेते हैं, ठीक है ना। देन जो हमारी पर्सन्स हैं उनके पास नोटबुक और पेन्स हैं, उनको हम रो वाइज यहाँ पर अरेंज करते हैं। 15 नोटबुक हैं राधा के पास एंड 6 पेन्स हैं, फौजी के पास 10 नोटबुक्स हैं एंड 2 पेन्स हैं, एंड जो सिमरन है उनके पास 13 पेन है एंड 13 नोटबुक है, सॉरी, एंड 5 पेन्स है, राइट। तो इसको बेटा हम मैट्रिक्स के फॉर्म में कैसे रिप्रेजेंट करेंगे, आप यहाँ पे देख सकते हैं। वी कैन एक्सप्रेस दिस डाटा एज मैट्रिक्स इन द क्लोज ब्रैकेट 15, 15, 6, 10, 2 and 13. So you can easily see that this matrix, and in this matrix there are some elements, right, in vertically and horizontally. So now we will discuss about that in the next slide. Okay, so we can first define the matrix, the arrangement of elements in horizontally and vertically, then the arrangement is called matrix, right. The horizontal lines are called rows। जैसे कि आप यहाँ पे देख पा रहे होंगे, जो फर्स्ट रो है वो है हमारी 15 and 6, एंड सेकेंड रो है 10, 2 and 13, 5 क्या है, थर्ड रो है, राइट। दैट इज द horizontal एलिमेंट्स, दैट इज कॉल्ड फर्स्ट, सेकेंड एंड थर्ड रो। जो मैट्रिक्स है और भी हो सकती है, मतलब जो नंबर ऑफ रोज है और भी हो सकती हैं, 4 भी हो सकती हैं, 5 भी हो सकती हैं, बट अभी हमने जो एग्जांपल लिया हुआ है उसके अकॉर्डिंग अभी हम 3x3 का जो मैट्रिक्स है, मींस 3 रो एंड 3 कॉलम जो मैक्सिमम है वो 12th क्लास में स्टडी करेंगे, और जो हायर मैट्रिक्स है वो हम कॉलेज लेवल में स्टडी करते हैं, ठीक है। सिमिलरली यहाँ पे आप देख सकते हैं कि जो हमारा वर्टिकल जो कॉलम्स है, दैट इज 15, 10, 13, दैट इज द फर्स्ट कॉलम एंड दैट इज द सेकेंड कॉलम। तो आप देख सकते हैं यहाँ पे कितने रो एंड कितने कॉलम है, 3 रोज हैं एंड 2 कॉलम्स हैं। तो इनको हम राइट करते हैं 3x2, इनको मल्टीप्लाई आप कर देंगे तो हमें मिल जाएगा 6। तो टोटल 6 एलिमेंट यहाँ पे मैट्रिक्स में हैं, और जो 3x2 में लिखा हुआ है नंबर ऑफ रोज इनटू नंबर ऑफ कॉलम्स, दैट इज कॉल्ड ऑर्डर ऑफ ए मैट्रिक्स, राइट। ओके, जनरली द एलिमेंट्स आर डिनोटेड बाय लोअर केस लेटर्स A, B, C, X, Y and Z in matrix. एलिमेंट्स आर रियल और कॉम्प्लेक्स नंबर्स। जो एलिमेंट्स हैं मैट्रिक्स के वो रियल नंबर्स होते हैं, हो सकते हैं, या फिर कॉम्प्लेक्स नंबर भी हो सकते हैं। कॉम्प्लेक्स नंबर आप लोगों ने 11th क्लास में स्टडी किया हुआ है, A+IB के फॉर्म में जो नंबर्स होते हैं उनको हम कॉम्प्लेक्स नंबर बोलते हैं, और रियल नंबर्स में तो सारे नंबर्स आ ही जाते हैं, ठीक है। ओके, so and the matrices are represented by capital letters A, B, C, D, etc. जो मैट्रिक्स है उसको हम रिप्रेजेंट करते हैं कैपिटल लेटर्स कैपिटल A, B, C एंड D से। जैसे कि यहाँ पे जो मैट्रिक्स है इसको यदि हम राइट करना चाहें कैसे करेंगे रिप्रेजेंट, तो इसको आप कैपिटल A इक्वल टू राइट कर सकते हैं, कैपिटल A इक्वल टू 15, 6, 10, 2 एंड 13, 5। ओके, तो दैट इज द डेफिनेशन ऑफ matrix of a matrix and fundamental concept of a matrix. Then after that symbol of a matrix, तो जैसे कि हमने यहाँ पे देखा जो क्लोज ब्रैकेट है दिस, इसमें जो एलिमेंट्स होते हैं वो हम राइट कर देते हैं रो वाइज एंड कॉलम वाइज। सो वी कैन एक्सप्रेस एलिमेंट्स इन a matrix form under this close bracket, or also some authors are using this second bracket, that is also simple bracket, For example, A equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is a matrix, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 are the elements of the matrix, right? एंड यहाँ पे जो स्टूडेंट्स जुड़ते जा रहे हैं, दैट्स वेरी नाइस. यूएसए टीवी है हमारे साथ एंड सुष्मिता तिवारी है. ओके, आप सभी का बहुत बहुत स्वागत है. एंड यू आर वाचिंग शुक्ला मैथ्स एकेडमी ऑनलाइन लाइव क्लासेस लर्न फ्रॉम होम. एंड आई एम प्रोफेसर जीपी शुक्ला conducting this live streaming, and I am also director and maths faculty of Shukla Maths Academy, Jabalpur. Now next is order of a matrix. जैसा कि मैंने आपको ये बताया था, a matrix having m rows and small n columns is called a matrix of order m cross n, right? Or simply we will take the number of rows into number of columns and read as number of rows m into number of rows and number of columns n. So we can say that m cross n is our order of the matrix, or we can also write this as order of A equal to m cross n. Okay, so that is the concept of order of a matrix, right? For example, here P equal to 15, 6, 10, 2 and 13, 5 is a matrix. In this matrix, now count the number of rows, first row, second row and third row. There are 3 rows, right? And how many columns? There are 2 columns, right? So its order of A will be 3 cross 2, right? And total elements in this matrix are 6, right? You can also count the number of elements in this matrix, that is equal to 6. That is the number of elements. So we can write here n of A. N of A means number of element in this matrix. So that is the concept of order of a matrix, right? And now we can represent a m cross n matrix in rectangular array, right? And rectangular array. So now see that A11, A12. A11 means the position of this element is first row in the first column, and A12 first row in the second column, and third row and first row and third column, right? And so on. So that is the first row. So its last element is A1 into n, right? Because we are assuming here we have m cross n matrix, here m rows and n columns. So we are going on last column. Our last column is nth column, right? So first row and nth column, it is writing as A1n. Similarly, in the second row, the first element is A21, A22 up to A2n, because it is second row and nth column, so on. At last, we are going on our mth row. So elements are coming AM1. AM1 why? Because it is mth row and first column. So AM1 and AM here 2. AM1 is wrong, here M2. So AM2 is the second element, last row, and so on. Last element AM into n, because it is lying in the mth row and nth column. So this is a rectangular array of m cross n elements, right? Here is a matrix A as Aij of m cross n, right? We can write A matrix in the form of Aij of m cross n, right? Here I is lying between 1 and m, and j lying between 1 and n, because here m rows and n columns. So I represent number of rows or ith row, and j represents jth row, right? So that is the concept of m cross n matrix, right? The number of elements in an m cross n matrix is m into n, right? Number of row and number of column, right? So this is another example of a matrix. Here let A equal to 1, 0, 4, 9 to 10. Order of this matrix is A equal to 2 into 3, right? 2 into 3, that is 6. Number of elements are 6 and order is 2 into 3. Okay. And that is 1, 0, 4, 9, 2, 1. Okay. if a matrix has 10 elements, so all possible order pairs are, now see, it is very important. If a matrix has 10 elements, so we can make the pair as the multiple of 10. So 110 is the first possibility of the matrix, then second its opposite 10 1, then second is we can break 10 into multiple form, 2 into 5 also, right, and also 5 into 2, okay, and also we can write this 1 into 10, right, that is 10 equal to 1 into 10, and also we can write 10 its opposite 10 into 1. Okay, so these are four possible ways. Now you can see also here, so we can make a matrix in four ways whose contains 10 elements, which contains 10 elements, right? Okay, so this is another example of matrices, right? आगे हम पढ़ेंगे इसमें एंड ऑपरेशंस ऑन मैट्रिसेस वो हम देख लेते हैं. ओके, एक क्वेश्चन देख लेते हैं हम यहाँ पे. कंस्ट्रक्ट अ 3x2 मैट्रिक्स whose elements are given by aij equal to half into mod of I minus 3j. तो 3x2 का मैट्रिक्स है, तो टोटल हमारे कितने होंगे, 6 एलिमेंट्स होंगे यहाँ पे, राइट. तो इसको कैसे करेंगे थोड़ा सा अपन देख लेते हैं. सबसे पहले आप अज्यूम कर लीजिए एक 3x2 को जो मैट्रिक्स वो आप बनाइए. यहाँ पे कैसे बनाएंगे, A11 A12 देन दो कॉलम लेना है और 3 रोज लेना है. तो पहले हम यहाँ पे अज्यूम कर लेंगे A11 A12 देन A21 A22 A31 एंड A32. दैट इज अवर required matrix, and after that we will find the corresponding elements by the given formula. Okay, so assume this matrix, and now the formula is aij equal to half into mod of I minus 3j, and here values of I are 1 2 3 maximum, and j value of j are 1 2. So we will take the first value A11, find the first element of the matrix by putting I or j equal to 1 1. So we get A11 by the given formula. Similarly, we will take the I equal to 1 and j equal to 2. So we get A12, right? And similarly, we can find all the elements one by one. And after finding these elements, we will putting back these values in our equation number 1, this matrix. So we get our required matrix 1 5 by 2 1 by 2 2 and 0 and 3 by 2. Okay. Okay, now next is types of matrices. So here first is the column matrix. A matrix is said to be a column matrix if it has only one column. Okay, now see here, we can write here more example. First is here 0 9 minus 1. I am writing another example, that is 2 1 3. Now see here, in this matrix only one column, its order is 3 cross 1, because in this matrix 3 rows and one column, so it is called column matrix, right? And number of elements are here 3 into 1, that is 3. Okay, so that is the column matrix. If a matrix has only one column, then it is called a column matrix. Similarly, its opposite, a matrix is said to be a row matrix if it has only one row, right? I am taking the another example, B equal to 2 1 0, right? Now see here, its order is 1 cross 3. So it's in this matrix only one row and 3 columns, so it is called a row matrix. Okay, then now next is the third one, is square matrix. That is very important. A matrix is said to be a square matrix if it has the number of rows are equal to number of columns, right? यदि किसी भी मैट्रिक्स में जो कॉलमों की संख्या रो की संख्या और कॉलम की संख्या कैसी इक्वल है, तो इट इज कॉल्ड स्क्वायर मैट्रिक्स, राइट? And here m equal to n, remember that if m equal to n number of rows equal to number of columns in a matrix, then it is called a square matrix, right? Okay. Now example is 2360. It is the square matrix of 2 cross 2, right? Similarly, we can also write the square matrix of 3 cross 3. Now see here, for example, 1, 2, 0, minus 1, 2 and 0, and 3, 5 and minus 2. It is a also a square matrix because its order is 3 cross 3. Okay. And now after that we will discuss about the principal diagonal. Now you can see here any matrix, suppose this is 2 cross 2 matrix 1, 2 and 3 minus 1, right? The right upper left diagonal is called the principal diagonal. This is called the principal diagonal, as you can see in the example, right? The diagonal from the first element of the first row to the last element of the last row. It is called principal diagonal of the matrix or square matrix. Okay. So ये हो गया. Then आगे हम चलते हैं टाइप्स ऑफ जो मैट्रिसेस है. नेक्स्ट वन इज द डायगोनल मैट्रिक्स. दैट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. A square matrix B equal to Bij of M cross M, right? क्योंकि स्क्वायर मैट्रिक्स है तो ऑर्डर जो है वो नंबर ऑफ रोज एंड नंबर ऑफ कॉलम्स इक्वल रहेगा, तो यहाँ पे हमने M क्रॉस M लिया हुआ है. इज सेड टू बी अ डायगोनल मैट्रिक्स इफ ऑल इट्स नॉन डायगोनल एलिमेंट्स आर जीरो. ठीक है ना. इसका हम एक एग्जांपल ले लेते हैं. डायगोनल जो मैट्रिक्स होता है वो क्या होता है? डायगोनल मैट्रिक्स example is if B equal to, here this is the square matrix and all its elements are. थोड़ा सा मेरा पेन टेप में प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है, अभी इसको सेट करना है तो लिखने में पर थोड़ा आसानी रहेगी. इसका जो टच पैड है उसका सेंसर बहुत सेंसिटिव है. ओके, सो नाउ सी हियर I'm taking here 1, 2, 3 only in the diagonal and rest of the elements are 0. This is a 3 cross 3 matrix. You can see that if the principal diagonal element of a square matrix are non-zero and rest elements are 0, so it is called the diagonal matrix, right? Okay. Example यहाँ पे उन्होंने भी दिया हुआ है 1, 9 minus 7 है जो इसका प्रिंसिपल डायगोनल यहाँ पे देख सकते हैं. दिस इज नॉन जीरो है और बाकी जो एलिमेंट्स है हमारे जीरो है. सो इट इज कॉल्ड डायगोनल मैट्रिक्स ऑफ 3 क्रॉस 3. यदि हम 2 क्रॉस 2 को जो लेना चाहें एग्जांपल, तो यहाँ पे आप ले लें C इक्वल टू दैट इज 1 minus 1 एंड रेस्ट एलिमेंट्स आर 0. सो दैट इज अ डायगोनल मैट्रिक्स ऑफ 2 क्रॉस 2 एंड दैट इज 3 क्रॉस 3. So that is the concept of diagonal matrix. Now next is the scalar matrix. A diagonal matrix is said to be a scalar matrix if its diagonal elements are equal. Okay, for example you can see here, let P equal to, in this matrix the diagonal elements are root 3, root 3 and root 3 and rest all elements are 0, right? So this is a scalar matrix of 3 cross 3. You can also make the 2 cross 2 matrix. I am writing here let 1 and here also 1 and rest elements are 0. So that is this is also a diagonal matrix, but its all diagonal elements are same or equal, so it is also called scalar matrix. Remember that. So now next is the operations on matrices. Now see here, first one is the addition of two matrices, right? So let here we have two matrices A and B. Their elements are A11, A12, A13, A21, A22 and A23. And second is B, B11, B12, B13 and B21, B22 and B23, right? We have two matrices of same order. Then we can easily adding them by adding their corresponding elements, A11 with B11 and A12 with B12 and A13 with B13 and so on. Okay, so the addition or the sum of two matrices A and B is defined as a matrix C equal to Cij of order M cross N, means same order of the matrix A and B where Cij equal to Aij plus Bij. Remember that. So we can say that the sum of two matrices is only possible when their order is same, otherwise not. Remember that. See here example this, we have given two matrices A and B. Okay, so we have to find the A plus B. Now first we will check their order. It is our 2 cross 3 matrix, and second one is also 2 cross 3 matrix, right? So their order is same, so we can easily add them by A plus B. How we can adding them? Root 3 plus 2 first element, and second is 1 plus root 5, and third element will be 0 because minus 1 plus 1 will be 0. And A21 element is 2 plus 2 minus 2 is 0, and 3 plus 3 it is 6, and 0 plus half is half, and third row is not here. So this is our required 2 cross 3 matrix, that is the same order of A and B. So we can say that the sum of two matrices is only possible when the matrix A and B have same order, otherwise not, right? Similar rule is followed by differences of two matrices. Then next is the property of addition, that is commutative law, right? If we have two matrices, capital A equal to Aij and Bij are two matrices of same order, then they are following the commutative law A plus B equal to B plus A. You know that, right? Now next is the associative law of addition of two matrices. So now if we have three matrices A, B and C, so the associative law is A plus B in bracket and plus C equal to, we can write A plus B plus C. So associative law is following by sum of three matrices, right? So you can here easily prove this law by taking the matrices left hand side A plus B plus C equal to Aij plus Bij in whole bracket and plus Cij, right? On simplification, take Aij plus Bij together. Why? Because Aij and Bij are two real numbers, right? So we can add them and together and take the Cij in the as a third element, and after adding these numbers we get Aij plus Bij plus Cij, and take the Aij outside, means as a first element, and plus Bij plus Cij together, right? So we get at the last right hand side A plus B plus C. So this is the associative law property for addition of three matrices. Okay, this is the example of this law. And now next is the existence of additive identity element. Let Aij be a M cross N matrix and O be a M cross N matrix, right? O is also called zero matrix. If a matrix A have all elements are zero, like that, so it is called the matrix O, right? It is matrix O, not A, it is O. So 0 is additive matrix because we can add in any matrix O matrix, so we get A. So O is the means null matrix. It is also called null matrix. So null matrix is the additive matrix. Okay. This is the example. We have a matrix A and O is the null matrix of 2 cross 2. So we can easily find the value of A plus 0, that is 2, 4 and minus 5, 3, right? And also find O plus A, right? O plus A means null matrix plus A matrix, then it is equal to A, right? So A plus O equal to O plus A equal to A. So the zero matrix is identity matrix for addition. We can add zero matrix in any matrix. Now next is the existence of additive inverse, right? So what is the additive inverse? Suppose we have a matrix A, then its additive inverse is minus A. Why? Because if we can add A plus B, so we get 0. So B will be equal to minus A, and B is called additive inverse of the matrix A. So that is the minus A. Remember that, because A plus minus A equal to 0, null matrix. So if we multiply by minus 1 in the given matrix, so we get the additive inverse matrix. For example, we have a matrix A equal to 3, 4 and 5, 6. So we have to find the additive inverse of this matrix. So directly we will find, let additive inverse is matrix B. Okay. So A plus B equal to क्या मिलना चाहिए हमें null matrix 0 मिलना चाहिए, right? So B will be equal to minus A. तो माइनस 1 से मल्टीप्लाई कर देंगे इन द गिवन मैट्रिक्स ए के ऑल एलिमेंट्स में, दैट इज 3, 4 एंड 5, 6, राइट? सो वी हैव minus 3, minus 4, minus 5 and minus 6. दैट इज अवर additive inverse of the given matrix A. आप सभी का बहुत बहुत हम हार्दिक स्वागत करते हैं जिन्होंने क्लास ज्वाइन की। एंड आप सभी से मेरी रिक्वेस्ट है कि आप जो लाइव स्ट्रीम है उसको लाइक करना मत भूलिएगा, और आपको जो लाइव क्लास है वो पसंद आई हो तो डोंट फॉरगेट टू सब्सक्राइब अवर यूट्यूब चैनल फॉर मोर लाइव सेशंस, फॉर मोर अपकमिंग लाइव सेशंस ऑन यूट्यूब। So I think it is enough for today, and more properties and more problems we will discuss our next live class for 12th in coming days. Okay, so thank you so much all of you, and bye bye.